It has been a long holiday. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year's celebration. But we are back. I think it's going to take today and next week to finish this one. But if you guys have any requests for future videos, let me know. But yeah, so we're still continuing on the mountainscape. And then you guys just let me know what you want to do. One of the options was doing soft pastel, sorry. I do have other mediums here that I can help you with setting up and stuff. So just let me know. I had to restart my phone, so we have to realign everything. Give me a second. So I'm just going to show you, everything was deleted. So like my anchors were deleted and I need to reset that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So here we go. I have it in AR mode. I'm just going to go in really close to the anchor. And then I'm going to go to Tools, AR, Anchors, and then make an anchor. So you got to take a picture, try to make it as parallel to it as possible. Prevents it from getting all warped. So you take a picture. I think that picture's good. Now you got to crop it. Oh, is my sound off? Can anybody hear me? Okay, just give me a minute. Let's see if I can figure this out. Can anybody hear me now? I think I'm having technical difficulties. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so yeah, I just forgot to turn on the volume on my thing so I can hear it. Okay, now we're gonna crop it and just crop it to the edges. Try to keep it all, like, no outside of the anchor. Just the inside of the anchor. Okay, and then now we got to measure the length of the anchor. So I use inches, you can do centimeters, that's fine. And that is 5 inches. It needs to be at least 2 inches, I think, according to this. And press done. It will automatically do the measurement for the vertical measurement for you because of the picture. Okay. Lock focus, and then get all of the drawing. Okay, I'm going to press the focus so that it will actually focus onto the drawing. I'm just trying to get the entire space of the drawing and the anchor in the video. And now we got to straighten everything out. I'm going to press move. And then just play around with it until you have it all lined up. Luckily, this is just a landscape, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It would be a little bit, you need to be a little bit more accurate with a portrait. You just need to tilt it ever so slightly here. Take a look at the other side. So just find a point, a couple of points where you want it to line up, and then it should be good to go. I think that's good. Again, luckily it's just a mountainscape, so the lining up doesn't have to be exact. Okay, we're going to lock focus. Everything is crisp for the drawing itself. And yeah, there we go. We're done. We're going to go into strobe, turn it on, and turn on the opacity to the fullest. So that's how you just quickly align it up if you have accidentally bumped it out of place or you had to restart something. It's not too bad. So I'm going to show you the materials that I'm going to be using. So I got graphite pencils. So I have a 4H, HB, 4B, 8B, and then I'm going to use a black watercolor pencil, but you do not need to use a black watercolor pencil. You can use just a black colored pencil, charcoal, a dark, like a softer graphite, whatever you want to use. It will work. And then I have some mechanical erasers, which kind of like mechanical pen. So those are good for little small areas. I have an electric eraser, so you can get some really white and crisp areas. A knead eraser or kneadable eraser. So you can just sculpt it into any shape you want. This is good to have some soft edges instead of harsh edges to keep the look of it being blended. It's a great tool. Some blending stumps for some small areas for blending. Some toilet paper or paper towel, whatever, soft to blend bigger areas. And maybe today we'll get to the watercolor part with the black watercolor. So in some glass, some water, paintbrush, and white acrylic. We might get to that point, but I'm not sure. So anyways, we are going to start drawing now. So I'm going to take a 4B pencil and I'm going to try to keep with the direction of the stone when just drawing some lines. If you guys have any questions during the live video, don't hesitate to ask me and I will answer them promptly. If you have any questions after I'm live, don't hesitate to comment in the comments and I will get to them when I have a moment. And then I'll also try to answer those in the following live video. Man, I'm losing my voice. So stones are in layers, and that's why I'm doing lines for the shadowing, to mimic the texture. So we're playing Spot the Difference. This is, if I weren't using the app, what I would have been doing is I would have a printed copy of my artwork and step away from it until it looks like it's about the same size, and just go back and forth with the printed piece and then my artwork until I notice a few changes, and then I will change them and then repeat the process. So that this is pretty much just that. I've saw another YouTuber who actually took pictures of their artwork and overlaid them digitally to see the little differences. So this is not much different than that. I believe we are starting to get into the distant tree line. I'm going to blend it with the paper towel or toilet paper with the direction of the stone, with the direction of all those lines that I made, because I don't want to lose those lines. And now I'm going to pick up some little areas using the small mono eraser. I'm going to do a few little circles, not like full circles, just to create a texture, if you kind of understand what I'm trying to say. I guess what I'm trying to do is more like random sharp shapes. I'm just creating with just doing small little lines of every direction. And I think I might do that with the rest of the mountain here too, just here and there, just to break up those lines ever so slightly, because they're not perfect. Thank you so much for the like. It is very much appreciated. Okay, now we're gonna go in and I'm going to use the 4B pencil and do the shadowing and the texture of the lines. And to get it darker, just do more lines closer together. Also a little bit more pressure as well. I'm doing circular motions for this side because you can't really see much of the layering. Just creating some texture, have fun with it. Landscapes are just full of abstract textures. And I'm going to blend that dotted area in circles and then blend the lined area in the same direction that you put those lines. I'm going to take an HB pencil. This section that I'm doing next is quite smooth, so I'm going to do light, small circular motions. I'm not too far away from the living room, so please forgive the background noise. I know I say that every time that I go live. And take the black watercolor pencil because there's some really dark areas underneath, like at the bottom part of the mountain. And I'm just doing some circular motions. And then I see some stuff, some branches from the tree that's on the right side of the page. I'm I'm using the black watercolor for this and circular motions with a few lines to indicate that it is a branch. And then I see some background trees, some circular motions to indicate the leaves and the, yeah. I'm going to add some more shading in the, well, more shading in some dark areas. And I'm just doing circular motions. This is on the mountain and it's on the lower part of the mountain. So it's not dark enough for me. I'm just blending. Okay, taking my mono eraser, the small mechanical one, and just picking up some of those highlights on the mountain. Trying to mimic the texture that you see. You don't need to be exact with the placement of the texture, because nobody will know the difference. What I'm working on right now is some really small highlighted areas, so I'm kind of doing dots and a few like squiggly lines. Now we're moving on to the next section. We have some taller trees poking through in the background, so we're going to draw those. I'm going to start with the trunk of the trees. It doesn't have to be lines that go all the way through. They can be broken up a bit. So not one continuous line. You do this because the pine needles or leaves are highlighted on the top, that's pointing towards you. So it just looks like, kind of looks like it's floating, but it's not. Okay, so I'm gonna add some of those little branches and pine needles, and I'm just doing some sharp and circular motions, whatever I feel like needs to be done to indicate what kind of tree it is. The sun is coming from the right side, as you can tell by the mountain. So one half of the tree is going to look brighter than the other half. So it'll kind of look lopsided, but don't worry, it's fine. One thing about the black watercolor is it doesn't blend as easily, or it doesn't really blend at all, to be honest. So you can actually do this as the first layer, especially if you need to blend afterwards. Yes, you don't need to worry about that, messing it up. If you're not using the black watercolor pencil, I would actually work on the background first. I would actually normally work on the background first anyways, and then build to the foreground. So we are doing a branch of a larger tree. At least I'm pretty sure we are. Are we? Anyways, it will come together. Just trust the process. That's all I have to say. I'm going to work on the mountain in the background using the 4B pencil. If you can see the layers that are in the stone, do lines. And you can make thicker lines and thinner lines if you want. So I'll show you what I mean about the black watercolor not blending here. So I'm just going to blend in the direction of those lines I just did. And you can see the black watercolor did not blend. So Yeah, normally if you're using graphite or just charcoal, something that doesn't blend, I mean that blends easily, work from the back to the front. So I'm just coloring it in, or erasing it in a texture that's both circular and yeah, small strokes. That some of them are circle and some of them are not, but most of them are pretty sharp, and some dots. That's how I'm creating the texture of the mountain. And it's kind of a similar texture that I'm using for the trees as well. So I'm just going to do some highlights on the sides of the tree. Maybe poking through to the other side a little bit. I have a horsehair brush that I used to get rid of all the eraser marks and pencil, like eraser, what do you call it? Just like residue. I don't know what it's called. It helps prevent you from smudging anything. It's a really great tool. Should invest in one if you can. Words are not coming out of my mouth right now. At least not properly. Okay, so we got a big tree on the side here. I'm going to color that in. So if you're using anything that smudges easily, do the dark areas last. Or not dark areas, do the background last. Or first, sorry. Because it's easier to layer on top from the background to the foreground. The more you draw, the more you find out what works for you, for your, for the way that you think, the way that your stuff works. You'll learn what's easier for you. Just keep going. I'm gonna add a little bit of dark in the background, so I'm gonna use a 4B, just a little bit. Okay, I'm actually going to be using the electric eraser. Got this from Amazon. It's really cool. And I'm just going to do some dots. Some dots in those lighter areas. I just need you to tap. Nice and sharp circles. This eraser will also erase some, like most of a colored pencil. So if you do colored artwork, this is also a great tool for you as well. I'm just going in some of those areas and just making some more texture. The sharp, almost like randomized lines. There's going to be a bit of an overlap of what we've already done, but yeah, we'll just go ahead and work on it. Sorry, I didn't realize how tired I am. I'm just going to use a black watercolor pencil, just doing circular and sharp motions. I'm trying to keep to the general areas of what I see on the screen when it's flashing back and forth. I'm not worried about every single detail. Again, this is a landscape, which it's more abstract when it comes to the texture and the placement of things. Especially when you zoom in to the smaller details. So tell me, what was your favorite part of the holidays? Because I've been gone for a while and I haven't heard from any of you. My family has a big family gathering on my husband's side every Christmas, and it was fun. We have people from all over the place. Well, like different beliefs and stuff. We're kind of interesting group. We all get along very well, and that's what I really like about the family, because like it doesn't matter what all the differences between them, they are still really close knit. They get together twice a year, which is really cool. I really like it. We did a elephant gift exchange. I put in some homemade ornaments that I did, the wood burning ones that I did, and I also put in some of my sister's honey. And then we got a giant stuffed dragon, which my daughter absolutely loves. New Year's, we stayed home. Where I live, we don't do fireworks, which I think is kind of sad. But we couldn't have gone anywhere else because my baby girl's too young to stay up that late. But once she's old enough, we'll probably go to the nearest city next time. Like as soon as we have the ability to. Okay, now that we got the darker areas, I'm going to go in with a 4B pencil and just create some more texture in there. I'm going to go more texture on the left side and just lightly get less so that it creates shadow. The texture will make the highlights and the shadows for you. Just slightly blending, not too much. And then I'm going to take my Mono eraser and then I'm going to do the highlights. Still kind of using the same texture pattern. Okay, I'm going to take the electric eraser and just do a few dots. Some more dots on the right side than the left side. Need to have more of that eraser exposed to do that. And then on to the next side, the next section. I'm going to work on the mountain first. I'm going to do it in the order which I should be doing it. I'm going to take a 4B pencil and just following the shapes and the direction of the texture. Yeah. Some of the textures are going to be very rigid, and some of them are just going to be like little dots. And then if you're doing lighter areas, do lighter pressure, darker areas with harder pressure. Or you can also change the softness of your pencils. So an H pencil, so like H4, H3, so on and so forth, is going to be harder pencils, which are going to be harder to blend, but they're also going to be lighter. They're good for really fine details too, because you can get a really nice sharp edge that won't dull very quickly. And then the B4, B8, whatever, and the Bs are softer pencils, which are darker, easier to blend, good for shading in larger areas that need to be blend and soft. So. Okay, I'm going to blend that in, going in the same direction that I drew those lines, because I don't want to lose that texture I just created. Okay, now I'm going to take an HB pencil and create that tree line. So I'm just going up, making those little areas a little bit, not so much, but a little bit wider at the bottom, but the lines are going up. And they don't have to be evenly spaced because they're not evenly spaced. Okay, I am noticing that there is quite a bit of dark, like there's quite a bit of more darker areas in the mountains. So I'm going to take the black watercolor pencil, circular motions, but also kind of in a direction, like a line going sideways, horizontally. And then I'm going to take my mono eraser and get those highlights. And now I'm going to work on those trees that are just behind the water line. And I'm going to use my black watercolor pencil to do those darker areas. I'm mostly going vertically, but kind of a scribbly motion. Just using the reference photo as a guideline. That's it. Okay, I'm going to take the HB pencil and do more of those trees. They're not as dark as the ones that are in the front. I'm going to draw that shoreline. It's quite straight across. And it's dark just before you see the shore. And then it's a bright white area, just a really thin bright white area. And then there's the lake. I'm going to blend with a blending stump, a small one, preferably one that doesn't have color on it. And I'm just going to take off some of the extra pieces, like extra graphite that was on it earlier. You can sand it down with that little sanding palette that you have, that we have in most of our art. Here. This thing that is in most drawing sets. You can just scrape it clean using that. This thing's good for for making, trying to think, for making powder, which is good for very soft shadowing. And I'm going to work on the little bit of lake that we see. It's quite dark, and we're just gonna do, I'm gonna do a line first and then just kind of circular motions because it's quite smooth in the back. Really tight circular motions. And then I'm going to take that blending stump and blend that out again. And then erase that shoreline, leaving a little bit of dark line at the top, and yeah, just erasing that. I accidentally erased too much. I'm going to blend that line in, just going in the same direction because we don't want to blend it too much into the white. Now it looks like there's a little boat on there, so I'm going to just make a little dot. Just a little dot in the water. Hey, I made it. Yay, you made it. Yeah, I noticed that between my time, which I'm in Alberta, and New York, we used to be 3 hours difference. Now we're 2 hours difference. So I'm going to remind people that my time's changing when it does, and just be aware if your time changes, just to make sure that we are on the same page when it comes to that time that I'm actually on, because I know it changes like 2 times a year for most people. I'm glad you made it. I am going to take like a 2-minute break. It's not going to be very long. But yeah, so just grabbing some coffee and stretching out for just a minute. So yeah, see you in a bit. Oh. Okay, I am back. Don't have any news really about what's going on, but we're doing merch now. You can go to DaVinciApp.com, and then there's a shop section, which they're selling the phone stands and some other merch like this coffee mug. And I was told that they're going to have like artists featured on their shop to have their artwork printed on stuff like this. And the artist will get all the money earned from the ones that sell. So, yeah. Oh, I just realized that my camera is still on auto director, so I gotta turn that off. Okay, so do you use the different sized erasers? I use whatever feels like it needs to be used for the areas. So like the small ones are good for like, the really small ones good for like hair. The electric eraser is multiple different sizes. So just whatever works for that area, because you don't want to use a small eraser for big areas, and you don't want to use a big eraser for small areas, if that makes any sense. And then the knead eraser is good for softer edges. So it's, yeah. So I'm really excited for the shop because I'm going to put some of my artwork on there. But the thing is, it needs to be not copyrighted, so I can't use any of the stuff that's in the background for that. But my 5-minute sketches should work. But I'm hoping they will do that soon, or just contact them, see if they're doing that now. You can contact them on Instagram. So do you just use 2 holders? Phone holders for the DaVinci app. My favorite one for the app is the table clamp. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different phone holders. Erasers. Do you just use 2 holders? Erasers. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, to be honest. I'll show you this electric eraser. So this, you can take apart and it'll have refills. You can actually have 2 different sizes for that. So here are my refills. As stuff falls down. Here are all my refills. There's 2 different sizes, and there's another thing that you can put in. So you take that plastic part out, and then there's a metal thing that you could put in there instead for the bigger ones, and you just push it in, and it holds it in place. Just like that. I usually just use the smaller one because I tend to use it for just the smaller areas. So yeah, love this tool. Absolutely wonderful tool. I need to wake up. Do you have a did you have a good Christmas? It was a good Christmas. I have nothing to complain about. It was busy and a lot going on, but the New Year's was slow, so it evened out for us. My favorite thing that happened is that we went out of town and stayed at a hotel so that we can go to our family reunion Christmas party. It's my husband's family, and they are wonderful people. Like they're all over the place for beliefs and stuff, but they get along so well, and it's just a refreshing to be around them. And we did a Christmas exchange, white elephant, and I put some of my craft stuff in a thing, and there was a couple people who wanted them. It was quite fun. I hear that Trump wants to get your country. Yeah, apparently. He wants to be the 51st state, and he wants Canada to be the whole a state in itself. It's too big to be one state. I don't want that to happen. I really don't. It's nice to have two different places that are similar enough, so it just feels like you're traveling to someplace new, and yeah. And you don't have to learn a new language to get around. I am not going to comment on anything, but one thing that I want to say is that this is just me, okay? This has nothing to do with the app. I just think there's just so much wrong with government in general. It's just crazy. So, and even in Canada too, there's just so much wrong with government. Doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, I'm going to try to stay away from those topics though, because it doesn't change the person who I am, and it doesn't change the person who you are either, and we're here for art, we're not here for politics. Yes. Just do art. Art is good. Art is fun. Art is controversial enough. Especially with the tracing. A lot of people say tracing's not good. Well, I'm almost done with the chatting because I'm almost done with coffee. So yeah, the Christmas party, I put in those wooden ornaments that I wood burned for Christmas special videos, and there was a few people who were fighting over it, which was awesome. It made me feel good. Tracing isn't easy. It doesn't matter what tools you use. You can trace all you want, but if you don't practice and you don't know the skills to shade or create texture, it doesn't get you very far. Or even just creating your own style and your own it's not easy. Art's not easy. Sorry for the burp. I thought I was quiet, but I wasn't. I can see the appeal of freehand too, because I used to be freehand artist as well. I used to do it really good. And the trick to doing that is you look at the big shapes first and where it relates to the edges of the paper, and then you do smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's doable. You could do it. It's freehand, but it just takes extra time. Just make sure that everything's right, because you can't start shading until you know everything is in place. So it's a lot of erasing and replacing and erasing and replacing, and it's just a lot. Well, if you want the mug, go to davinciiapp.com and press shop, and it should pop up. And also, again, if you want to sell some of your artwork on mugs like this or other stuff that they have, DaVinciI is willing to post them for you, and you get all of the earnings from it. So just contact them. I think you can email them at info@davinciiapp.com and Instagram. So they're pretty good. They're pretty awesome people. Just moving my computer so that I can get back to work. So yeah, I think that shop thing that they're doing is super fun and no risk to you. You don't have to pay for anything to do that. At least from what I'm aware of. And then also the same shop, you can find their phone stands if you need a phone stand. And I also just recently found out that there are some scammers who say that they are selling the DaVinciI app stand, actually using the DaVinciI app name, and it's not actually the DaVinciI app stand. So go straight to the source. I know for sure Amazon's safe to buy the stand, and their website shop is safe. So I will talk to them tomorrow and I will see what kind of information I can get to get you informed. But yeah. I'll mention that to them when I talk to them tomorrow. Circular motions, just wider at the bottom and going upward. So in a mixture of a line and some scribbles. Okay, I'm going to use the 4B pencil and work on the mountain meets tree line. And doing a little bit of the tree area as well with the 4B pencil, just shading it in, creating the base of everything. Another thing I want to ask is, what kind of features do you guys want to see in the updates? I personally ask them for nudge, which will do like a very slight movement so that it's easy to align things to exactly where you want it to be. And they are going to work on that, but if there's anything that you guys think could be improved to make the app better, something you wish so it was there that's not, let us know. We want to make sure that the app is working to its best, making your experience the best it can be. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my daughter's just laughing in the background. It's such a cute laugh. I'm just doing more circular motions in this area because I'm pretty sure it's just trees that are coming up to the mountain. Aww, now she's crying. So much for laughing. Okay, I'm gonna blend using the toilet paper. Kind of just going in the same direction as the tree's growth, which is upward. And then for the mountain, following the lines of the layers here. And then I'm going to take the Mono eraser and just pick up those, I think it's just slightly snowy areas if I'm correct on that. Just some light areas. Mountains almost always have snow. At least where I'm from. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure, but I am going to put a little bit more lines indicating some smaller trees in the background. Scribbly on those lines. A little bit wider at the bottom, thinner on the top. Oh, another thing that they're trying to do as well is having collaborations with artists. I don't think you need to have a big following for it. I surely don't have a big following. So what they want you to do is just film your process with the DaVinci Eye app, post it on your social media platforms, and they will also post it on their social media platforms. I've heard them say they will pay you for it, or they will give you free art supplies. But for more detail, I would contact them through the DaVinci, like info@davinciapp.com, or there might be actually a button on the website. I'm just not 100% sure where. I should really do some more research on that. I'm gonna take the H4 pencil, just make sure I got the right one. The markings of what pencils what are coming off. And then I'm gonna add a few darker trees. Okay, I'm going to use a 4B pencil for the water. First, I'm just going to draw the line across where the shoreline meets the water. And then I'm going to draw some of those darker lines. And then just shading the rest. So lightly circular motions, mostly horizontally, but it would be best to do a few. And I'm just using a blending stump to blend it all out, going horizontally. I'm going to use that blending stump because there's quite a bit on there to add just a few more details of those trees in the background. And then I'm going to take the mono eraser and just lift up that shoreline. It's a very thin line. Black watercolor pencil to get some of those really dark areas on the mountains, or the mountain, yeah. And moving on to the next side, little bit here. Oh, why did I do that? Okay, and I'm going to use the 4B pencil for the mountain, doing some of the darker areas. I am pretty sure there is some trees that are going up the mountain, so you can do more circular motion than rigid motions. I am trying to get your reference picture. So you can go on to my personal Facebook page, which is Charity Lowe's Art, and just look up photos. Or you can go to the Facebook group and click on a post that I've posted recently and click on my profile, and if you just scroll down you should be able to find it. Or maybe search up live, it might pop up that way too. I need to find a better way to do that, to have my reference photos. Oh, I have an idea for future reference. I should post them on the app. Oh, I don't know if you guys can do that with the Android though. For iOS, I can post them on my profile on the social part of... Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing myself and talking at the same time. It's a delayed reaction with my talking. So just give me a minute while I collect my thoughts. So on the iOS system, there is a social aspect to it where you can post your artwork and post your reference photos on there. So I can post on my profile and you guys can find it through there in the future. But Android, I have to think of another way to do it. I will after your show because I'm afraid that I will lose this video. Okay. Fair. That's all I have to say about that. Fair. There are people that are popping up on this now. So we'll get to do little silhouettes of people now. So all my lives do get posted after the fact as well, and it's under Draw with Charity Low Live. There's a playlist, or you can just push live and then there's a bunch of live videos that I've done on there. And I'm currently the only one that's doing it. So, and I'm also marking them by episode and by what I am doing. So like right now it's episode 10 part 3. I'm guessing, or yeah. I don't know if it's part 3 or part 4, but it's one of those. I just got my new iPhone. So excited to get all this tech stuff going. Yeah, I love how much it's made a difference with using the app when I got my upgrades as well. Like the camera is clearer, you can get more detail. The AR feature works better with newer devices, and yeah, it's just, yeah, worth it. These are very dark trees. So I'm just going to go circular motions and try to fill in as much of the space as possible. I've been away for so long, I've forgotten how fun it is to be live and talking to people. in real time. So I'm just going to add a few little dark areas on the mountain with the black watercolor pencil. Just a few oddly shaped circles and ovals. So are you doing small circles for the water? Just really tight circles, so you can't really see them when you're doing it. Let me bring this over so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to do a quick demonstration for you. So when I'm doing the texture of the trees, they're quite large. Let me see if I can show you better. Let me see. I don't know, can I zoom in? So the trees are kind of like this, just circular, scribbly marks. But the water, kind of use more of the edge of the pencil. I do smaller, very tight circles. Like this. This is very smooth, and the reason why is because I'll actually try blending both of them for you. So for the loose circles, they're harder to make it look solid, like very smooth. It will stay, you can still see the lines pretty good. But for the tight circles, you can blend it really good. So it's just nice and smooth and stuff. Okay, I'm going to take the 4B pencil now and just do some of the lighter dark areas. Is that what I do for skin also? Yes, I use the very tight circles for skin. And then after you've used the tight circles for the skin, you can go back and add like smaller dots for like freckles or whatever on top by either erasing or adding shadows, some dark areas. So the reason why I'm not doing a lot of lines horizontally on the mountain or generally horizontally on the mountain, is because the trees are starting to climb up the mountain at this point. Are you using smooth paper? Yes, I am. I'll tell you exactly what I'm using, or other pieces, other paper that I would use. I'm just grabbing my art pads here. I think those are the only ones I really use. Let me see. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Just give me a minute. The William surface, is that how you say it? Mixed media, or William surface Bristol. Those are what I use. And you also want to make sure you're using the smooth side, because each paper has a smoother side than the other. So if you look at it, if you look at your art, you're drawing, like, let me just see. I don't know. Did you guys see that? Did I move that? Sorry, I'm having... So let me show you again. William surface, so Bristol or drawing paper. It's just hard to get the camera at the right place and draw at the same time. I'm the director at the same time. So if you look at your paper like this, just like, you can see, if you see texture on the paper, that's not the smooth side. If you don't see texture, that is the smooth side. But there's always, I don't know if I can show it to you, but yeah, the camera won't pick up the difference, but there is a difference between one side and the other. Okay, now gotta be the director again. I have an automatic director, so I don't have to worry about everything, and then there's me. So I gotta make sure one's on and the other one's off. Hopefully one day I can get somebody to be the video director while I do the work, because it makes life so much easier. But we'll see. Here we have tiny little people, but I'm gonna do it actually doesn't look like I need to add more shadows for the lake. I actually need to pick it up a bit. So I need my knead eraser because it is a very soft thing. And I'm just gonna drag it across. Just the knead eraser, just drag it across. It'll leave some softer edges and won't pick up everything, just a little bit. Okay, Okay, and I'm taking the mono eraser and picking up those highlights on the mountain. And if there is kind of a line, you just want to break it up a little bit. I wish the auto director will allow me to not focus on some of the cameras because I already have a camera on my face that shows up all the time. You guys don't really need to see my face here and there. You want to see what I'm doing. I'm just working on some of those lighter trees in the background, just picking up some of that graphite. I'm going to take the electric eraser and just add a few dots to some areas in the mountain. I'm going to take the mono eraser and just do light random scribbly marks in those areas too. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And I also appreciate you being here and chatting with me because it makes it a lot more entertaining to have somebody talk to me instead of me just rambling on. I'm going to work on that really dark tree. So scribbly, circular / pointy marks for the branches and the pine needles. And remember, the reference photo is just a guideline. Nobody's going to notice all the small little things that are different because nature is random. It's both random and organized at the same time. Okay, I'm going to leave the people that are in the bottom alone until I get to them again in the next round. I just want to draw them as whole instead of do the top half and then the bottom half. So I'll just leave them. I'll just leave them be. The strobe part is cool, but challenges me. Yeah, I like it because if I was doing this all freehand, I would print off a copy on a piece of paper, stand back from my drawing, and then put over top the print that looks roughly the same size from a distance, and just go back and forth, just looking at my picture, moving the reference until I see the little differences. This to me is quicker and does the exact same thing. So yeah, to me, it's not that much different than what I was doing before. So I'm just getting in some of those trunks of the tree. They don't have to be perfect lines, and they also don't need to be all the way through. There could be some breaking up of those. If I was Bob Ross, this would have been done a long time ago. So circular, you can add a few little dots that are kind of coming, like they're not attached, looking like they're attached. You can just, yeah. Just have some random dots. Because like the highlights of the trees kind of give the illusion of some pieces of the tree just floating. So just scribbly marks, just creating texture. That's all you're doing. Well, that is it for today. I will be back next week, same time. My time is from 10 to 12, which is Mountain Time. And if you guys have any time changes, just double check the time differences because, yeah, I just found out that the difference between me and New York is changed by an hour, so recently. Anyways, if you don't have the app and you want to try it for free for a year, you can contact me and I'll give you promo codes, and they do differ depending on if it's an iOS or Android. I am on the Facebook group, Da Vinci iApps group, so you can also contact me there. So 12 to 2 for you. Yeah. Anyways, and let me know what you guys want me to do. If it's setup or using a different medium or a different subject, you just let me know and I will try to get that done as soon as possible. So you're in control of what you guys get to see. Anyways, thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys again.